Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Coffee Corner with T. I'm T. So, guys, we had done the series on Facebook originally, and it is a place where we can all enjoy our morning cup of coffee and just talk about like certain subjects, uh, see how people feel about different things, kind of a venue for everyone to vent or to just get things off their chest, maybe get some advice. I'm no expert, but I will give advice to things that I've been through or things that I understand, and so on and so forth. So, once again, welcome to Coffee Corner with T. I'm T. The name is Tiffany. If you don't know me already, welcome. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification so that you get notified every single time that we upload a new video, premiere, or go live. So, guys, this morning we are going to talk about the subject divorce. Now, we're going to wait until everybody wakes up and comes on in. We're going to give everyone a few minutes. This morning, I am drinking French roast coffee. That's what I'm having. And I am having the new Nestle Coffee Mate glazed donut as my creamer. So if you guys have never tried the new glazed donut, go ahead and try it. This is my second time having this. I've already had it. It's very good. Don't put too much because it's really, really sweet. And you'll basically be adding so much sugar. So just a little bit is enough if you like cream in your coffee. And good morning, everyone. Yummy. So I have, which many people might not know, who have not followed us on Facebook, I have an array of coffee mugs. And so today, this is the Apple coffee mug. Every day will be a new coffee mug. And some of them are old, some of them have been given to me, some of them have been passed on down. Some were gifts, some were treasures that I purchased that have family portraits on them, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, it'll be exciting to see all of that. Let me go ahead and share out this stream really quick. How is everyone doing this morning? I hope you guys are all doing great. I hope everyone is doing well. This is our first time back, so I don't expect a bunch of people to come in because a bunch of people probably don't know that we're doing this segment again, which is fine. If you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and leave a comment and let us know what you think and what is your opinions, and that's okay too. All right. So the first thing that I would like to discuss about divorce is, when is it okay to get a divorce? Or is it okay to get a divorce? What are your opinions on divorce? Do you think that it's okay to get a divorce? Or were you raised in a more conservative type family where if something's broke, you fix it. Let's say you were having problems and you and your spouse went to counseling, or you went to any type of therapy or something to help with the issues or the problems that you're having, um, rather than just throw the relationship away. So I just kind of want to tap base on this and just say that in my family, I was one of five kids, one of five bad kids. I was the baby, so I was the best. But my parents were in a abusive relationship when I was younger. Most of it I don't remember because I was too young to remember. But at the age of 6, my dad passed away, and it was due to drug use. He had hydrocephalus, which is water on the brain, in case some of you don't know. He had cranial surgery, and after the cranial surgery, there was a blood clot in the back of his head, which did not show up on any type of test or anything like that. And it came down and it blew up his heart. So I lost my father at a young age. My mother was raising 5 children, all from like 1 year apart increments. And I was 6. So it went like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. Good morning, Ms. Glow Glow Loves Love. Welcome, welcome. Hello, love. Good morning. Here, this is my first time visiting Coffee Corner. God bless. Yes, this is actually our first Coffee Corner on YouTube. So thank you for coming. I used to do Coffee Corner on our Facebook page, but then we had stopped doing it because so many people started doing coffee corners. Well, not coffee corners, so to say, but like coffee and chats. And it just kind of became too much. And I felt like we were doing the same thing as everybody else. So we wanted to kind of give it a break. But then we definitely were bringing it back on YouTube eventually. But I wanted to just give it a break on Facebook. So, yes, welcome. Hopefully you have your cup of coffee or whatever you're eating or drinking on while you're visiting. So we're talking about divorce. What are your opinions on divorce? Is it okay to get a divorce? Or were you brought up in more of a conservative family where if something's broke, you fix it, like your relationship? And I was explaining that my father passed away when I was 6. And so my mother was raising 5 kids on her own. At the time, 2 of them were very bad. 2 brothers were very bad, always into trouble, involved with the law. It was mostly just like petty thefts and stuff like that. But yeah, when you run with the wrong crowd, that's what happens. So she was widowed, but she was in an abusive relationship prior to all of that. And I just feel like, when is enough enough? Is it okay to get a divorce? Or do you feel like if you're in a relationship that is abusive, or if you're in a relationship that's toxic, do you go and get therapy? Do you try to get family counseling? Or What do you guys think, and what is your opinions? Good morning, Cooking with Sharisa. Hello, hello. So here is my thoughts and my opinion on divorce. Maybe some of you will agree, maybe some of you won't. I feel like when you get married, a marriage is a sacred bond. And it's not to be taken lightly or entered into lightly as well. So if you're with, I also think you shouldn't rush into marriage. First of all, let's talk about that. Most people meet someone, they get engaged, and they're like, okay, let's get married. I feel like you really, really should know somebody before you get married. Me and my husband, we knew each other for about a year or so. And then we dated for about a year or so. And then we were engaged for a year before getting married. So ultimately, we were together almost 3 years before we even got married. And I feel like you really do have to know somebody before you get married. You shouldn't just enter into a marriage very lightly. Not only that, but once you do get married, the first year, if you're married, most people know the first year is the hardest. You have both families combined, okay? So now you've got this new family you have to deal with. Your spouse has a new family they have to deal with. So it's not just you and your partner, because there's two families that are now joined together. There's a bunch of different personalities. There's a bunch of different maybe conflicts. It could be, spiritual conflicts. Maybe you go to church all the time. Maybe you believe in God. Maybe they don't. It could be many things. But most importantly, what's important is keeping others out of your marriage. Your marriage is a sacred bond between two people. That's it. Nobody else has the right or should be involved in that marriage. No matter what's going on outside of that marriage, the marriage is a sacred bond. So the two people need to work on keeping others out of that marriage. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean like out of your business or maybe not get advice and so on. You can do those things, but just remember at the end of the day, it's you and your partner. So if you're having some troubles and whatever, a lot of people would love to run to those family members and tell the whole story, their side, of course. And I feel like once you go running, when you're mad at your partner, if you go running to like your side of the family and you're like, oh my gosh, he did this or she did that, then your family starts feeling a certain type of way about your partner. That creates animosity, that creates bitterness, and then they start treating your partner differently. And it makes it harder for you because when you go to family functions or you go do family things, now your partner doesn't want to go or doesn't want to be a part of those things because they don't want to be mistreated by your family. And your family should not be treating them differently just because you're having problems. What is between you and your partner is between you and your partner, ultimately. They may not like the way that you're being treated, or they may not like some of the things about your partner, but your partner probably didn't do everything that you said. Let's put it that way. When you were mad, you probably made up or embellished just a little bit because you were angry. And, maybe they did the same thing. Maybe they went and told their family, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, he did this or she did that. But yeah, ultimately you need to keep the two of you in your own relationship. So sometimes when you're mad, it's better to not talk about what's going on with your family unless it's like something really, like, if it's abusive or something like that. Absolutely talk to somebody. But not talking to your family about your problems with your spouse or your significant other is probably the best advice, because like I said, then others get involved into your relationship and it makes your relationship 10 times harder. Ultimately, what you need to do is you need to sit down and talk with your partner or your spouse and say, okay, this is what's going on. This is how I feel. This is the way that you're making me feel. But don't play the blame game. Don't say, well, you did this and you're doing this and you're doing that, because there's a such thing as fighting fair. So when you're fighting fair, what that means is, if you're in a fight, don't go pushing each other's buttons. And we all know what each other's buttons are if you're in a relationship. Um, don't say things that are like below the belt or, like totally unfair. Say things in a healthy way so that way you could work on your relationship. Ultimately, that's the goal. You want to work on the relationship. You don't want to get a divorce. You don't want to fight. So don't try to keep the fight or the argument going. Let me stop in and see what some of these comments say. Cooking with Sharisa says, good morning. Miss Glow Glow says, I don't oppose divorce, but think that we as women have to do what we have to do to be safe and protected. But being a missionary and a woman of God, and knowing that God, honors marriages, me and my personal opinion, I will say get therapy and communication. If you're in an abusive marriage or relationship, I say get out as fast as you can. Absolutely, Miss Glow Glow. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, because obviously if you're in an abusive relationship, that will never change. You cannot change somebody's behaviors. You can change somebody's thoughts in a way to where they know what they're doing is wrong. If they don't know what they're doing is wrong, most of the time they do. But sometimes if they were brought up that way, or they were in a household where that was normal, they don't know that that's not okay, because that's what they lived. And children, as you know, live what they learn. That is a known fact. And that's with anything. If a child is in a home where they're being molested, that is what they live when they're older. And 9 times out of 10, they will molest. If a child is in an abusive household when they're a child, when they get older, they will live that way. And most likely they will live in an abusive home. So let me just say this. When my mother was being abused, I was too little to remember it. So um, I don't remember any of that. So I can't say, well, I lived in an abusive home, because I don't remember any of that. I was, under 6 years old, apparently, when that was happening. And up until the time I was 6, the only thing I could remember is my father passing away. So, um, moving forward, I think you're absolutely correct on saying that, you know, being, you know, in a relationship is absolutely a sacred thing. And you should definitely try to fix your marriage if something is wrong, or your relationship, because not everybody is going to get along all the time. That's a known fact. Everybody is not going to get along all the time. Not everybody is going to agree all the time. But there's such thing as give and take. Um, for most of my marriage, my husband, Christopher, as you guys know as Big Belly Boo Boo, has been a very passive person. So, in the beginning of our marriage, I would say, hey, what do you want to eat? And he would say, I don't care. And I'd be like, okay, I'll just make whatever, and at the beginning, it was kind of like, wow, okay, this is pretty easy. He'll eat whatever I make. And, it made things easier. And then I would say, hey, what do you want to go do today? And he'd say, I don't care, whatever you want to do. Okay, let's go to the drive-in, or let's go out to dinner or whatever. And I'd go ahead and make the plans, and we'd go and we'd have a great time. But after you've been married 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, it became, how's the word I want to use? It became not fun anymore for me. I didn't like the fact that he said, I don't care. Because I'm like, I really want to do something you want to do. So tell me, where do you want to go? What do you want to eat? I want you to tell me. And, all couples do this, I'm sure. But then he would say, like, I'd say, well, babe, what do you want to eat for dinner today? And he'd say, for example, maybe, hey, what about lasagna? And I'd be like, And he'd be like, well, I don't know, whatever you want. And I'd be like, no, what else do you want to eat? What else do you feel like eating? And he'd go, I don't know, maybe make some cheeseburgers. And I'd be like, just wasn't feeling either of those. So then he'd be like, well, I don't know. Obviously, you don't want any of what I'm thinking. So just make whatever you want to make. It's fine. I'll eat whatever you make. So it's kind of like a catch 22. The more I wanted to know what he wanted to eat, the more I didn't really care. But I did care because I wanted to know what he was feeling, because obviously I love him and I want him to be happy too. But then when he suggested something, it wasn't really something I was wanting. But I was like, okay, I don't really want that, but I'll make it because it's something he wants. So I'm not really feeling like lasagna or cheeseburgers, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make that lasagna. And, it doesn't matter. I'll eat it. So I'd go ahead and I'd make the lasagna. And then once I started eating it, I'd think to myself, maybe I really did want lasagna because this is really good. And, I'm happy that I made it. So marriage is about give and take. Sometimes you might not want to do what the other person is feeling or wants, but you have to give a little bit. And then you'll realize once you do give, you'll feel better in the end, because ultimately, after I made the lasagna for him, I was happy that he got what he wanted. I was happy for him. Not just that I got to eat the lasagna, which was really good. So, that being said, yes, if you're in an abusive relationship or a toxic relationship that is harmful to you or to your children, absolutely get out, run as fast as you can, call somebody for help, talk to somebody for help. There's always hotlines out there. If you ever need anyone to talk to, I'm always here. My Facebook is in my About Me section. Message me if there's anything you want to talk about or you need advice. I'm always here to listen. Always. Like I said, I'm no expert, but I can always try to help if I can within my realm of expertise. Most of you don't know, or maybe you don't know me. I've been in the nursing industry for over 20 some years. That is what I mostly have done my entire life. So besides that, I have also done, fast food or restaurants. I've worked in the industry as well. But for the majority of our relationship, I've been a stay-at-home mom. And mostly that's because my husband works as a truck driver. And those of you that know, truck drivers work long hours, sometimes over the road jobs, which is they don't come home for like a week or even 2 weeks at a time. And then when they do come back, you ultimately get a day or two with them and then they're back gone again. I have lived through Chris being over the road. I have lived through him having a regional job, which means he's just, gone a few days and then back home. He's had a lot of local driving jobs as well. Right now, he is local. So that means like he goes to work at night and he works 12, 13 hours and then he's back home in the morning. So that's actually where he's at right now. He's asleep. He just got home at 7:30 this morning and he left at 6 p.m. yesterday evening. So if that goes to tell you anything, he works long hours, long days. And for the most part, I understand when he says, I don't care. Because if I worked all those hours, I really wouldn't care what I ate either, as long as I ate something, right? I mean, like he takes a lunch and stuff, but that's different. Let's check in the comments here. I was in a relationship with a very abusive man, and the blows to my head from his fist caused me to have a bleeding stroke at the brain. Wow. I'm so sorry to hear that, Miss Glow Glow. Hopefully you got out of that relationship and you got help immediately. Nobody should ever have to live through something like that. When it's physical to the point of something like that, you have to just get out. You have to. And, even in my marriage, me and Chris, we've had arguments. We've had fights. But the thing is, you have to know how to fix them so they don't keep happening again and again and again. You have to know how to communicate to each other. You have to know how to always try to keep God first. And most of you will never hear me talk about the Lord on our channel. And I don't do that specifically because we have many international friends on our channel. And let me just say this, my hair is a little frizzy today. I don't know why. But we have a lot of international friends on our channel. And, some people don't follow God, and that's okay. That's their belief, their own personal thing, and I'm not here to judge. Everybody is different. I believe in God, and that's my preference, but I'm not going to push it or force it on anybody else. So, I do bless my food off camera. We do pray off camera. A lot of people pray and bless their food on camera, and that's perfectly fine for their channel. I don't do that. And it's not really like, well, it's my channel, so I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't feel that way because I feel like if you're entertaining the world, I feel like you're here for everybody. So you should ultimately be here for everybody. And if that means, doing that off camera, I'm still doing what I want to do. I'm just not bringing it to my channel and pushing it on anybody else. So let's get to the comments. TNJ Eat and Talk. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee Corner with Tea. Good morning. Good morning. So we're talking about divorce this morning. What are your thoughts on divorce? Do you think it's okay to get a divorce if you're married? Or do you think that if something's broke, you should fix it. That is our topic today. In my opinion, I feel like if you are having problems, that you should communicate. Try that first. Communication is key in a relationship, any relationship. Um, so you should talk about it first. If you are unable to communicate together by yourselves, then you should absolutely get an outside source to help you, whether that's therapy, marriage counseling, a close friend that maybe can help, that can see things from the outside, who doesn't have an opinion either way. But I definitely feel like you should fix your relationship unless there are exceptions to the rule, unless you are in an abusive relationship where it is physical and harmful to you or your children or whichever. Or if there's like substance abuse, like alcohol, drugs, things of that nature that affect you and your life. Um, some people could say, well, you can always get drug and alcohol help. That's true to an extent. But I can also tell you this, many people don't want help. So unless they choose to get that help for themselves, then you need to distance yourself from them until they get that help for themselves, because it will only bring you down. Definitely, it will only bring you down. So let's get to the comments. TNJ Eat and Talk says, fix it, of course. Right. Some, like today, all of the youngins that are being brought up, there's so many kids that are dating and in relationships. And okay, I have a 16-year-old, so I hear most of these stories from friends and whatnot. A lot of the kids are in relationships, and some are abusive, some are, switching boyfriends every other week, which is okay, but at that age, they're experiencing life and whatnot. But I feel like the kids are in a relationship and maybe the boy or the girl, whichever, does something wrong, and the other person's like, oh, I don't want to be with him no more, or I don't want to be with her no more. I'm breaking up with him. Like, the young people are so quick to just give up on relationships. And I feel like that's what they're being taught as they're coming up. And that's why most marriages in this world nowadays, you don't find people that have been married 50 years or 60 years. You find people that have been married 1 or 2 years and they've gotten divorced. But I feel like people need to learn how to stay in relationships better rather than just toss them out the window and say, hey, I'm done. People give up too easily these days. TNJ Eden Talk says, Miss Glow Glow, sorry to hear that. Yes, absolutely. That's terrible. And as I said, my mother, when I was growing up, was in an abusive relationship, but I was too young to remember it. My father passed away when I was 6, so I don't remember any of that happened prior to that. But going forward, when I met my husband, we met through a mutual friend, and we were talking for about a year before we actually started dating. And then we dated for a year. After dating, we got engaged, and we were engaged for a year. So we were ultimately together 3 years before getting married. And we have been married going on 18 years, coming up May 1st. So we got married in 2004 on May 1st. And our marriage is not perfect. Nobody's is perfect. If they say it is, that's a lie. Nobody's is absolutely perfect. Everybody has ups and downs. Everybody has disagreements. Everybody has arguments, but it's the way that you handle them that keeps your marriage and your relationship going. And like I said, if you're having problems, keep it within your relationship. Don't run and tell your best friend. Don't run and tell your family. The other person shouldn't run and tell their family, because that only gets others involved. And then they start feeling differently about your partner. Good morning, Margaret. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, guys. Hey, guys, thank you for coming. Make sure you guys thumbs up this live stream and share it out. Share it out. I would appreciate it. Good morning, Towels Games. Hello, hello. So we're talking about marriage this morning. Welcome to Coffee Corner with T, guys. I'm T. My name is Tiffany. And we used to do this segment on Facebook, on our Facebook page. And we really have not posted on our Facebook page in a long time, because then we started doing YouTube full time. So we wanted to kind of bring back the Coffee Corner with T to YouTube. And we will be doing this every Monday and Thursday at 9 a.m. So I hope you guys will join us. We'll have lots of topics to talk about. And I just want to get everyone's opinions on divorce this morning. Do you think it's okay to get a divorce? Or were you raised in a more conservative family where if something's broke, you fix it? My opinion is that you fix your relationship, obviously, because your marriage is supposed to be something that's sacred. However, there are different rules to the game. And like I said, if you're in an abusive relationship that is harmful to you, your children, obviously leave, run, get away fast as you can. But if it's just like arguments or little things, that can be fixed, absolutely fix your relationship. Fix it, because you have to invest in your marriage if you want it to be great. A marriage is kind of like a plant, and I tell everybody this. The more you water your plants, what do? They grow. So the more you put into your marriage, the longer it will last and the more it will grow. So if you forget to feed that plant, what happens? It will die, right? So if you stop communicating and you stop investing in your marriage and you don't keep putting in to that marriage, the marriage will do what? Die. Absolutely. So I'm drinking on my French roast coffee this morning. I am using my new Coffee Mate glazed donut. If none of you have tried that yet, go ahead and try it. It's very good. Don't put too much or it'll be too sugary. But yes, that is what I believe. A marriage is like a plant. The more you water it, the more you put into it, the more you fertilize it, the bigger and the better it will grow. So, off key a little bit. If you have children, some people stay in a marriage because they have children. And they think like, oh, well, I don't want to leave because my kids, they'll lose their mother or they'll lose their father. But is it okay to stay in a marriage just for kids? Are kids a reason to stay in a marriage? What do you guys think? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Is it okay to stay in a marriage just for your children? Like, I know a lot of people think, well, they grew up in broken homes without a parent. And so they don't want that for their children. they can say maybe like, I grew up in a home without a mom, or I was adopted. I grew up in a foster home. I didn't have parents, or maybe they grew up without a dad and they don't want that for their children. So they try to hold on to this relationship, and they try to hold on so tightly because they feel like it's the right thing to do. But ultimately, if you're in a toxic relationship, your children know. Your children can feel it, and your children are not living their best life. So ultimately, if you're having problems that can't be fixed, the best thing to do for your children is to get a divorce and to live separately so that you can be the best person you can be for your children. And that's what I think, because maybe two people can't get along together, but maybe they're absolutely great at being friends. So, you never know until you try to work out those problems. But ultimately, don't just throw away your marriage. Work on it. Try to work on it. And like I said, don't play the blame game. Fight fair. If you're having an argument, fight fair. And what I mean by fight fair is, don't say things that push each other's buttons. Don't, throw out little digs that are below the belt. You guys know what those things are. If you've been together with your spouse long enough, you know what those things are that are going to upset your partner. So don't say them, don't do them. Um, you know, Try to just let your partner know what it is that you're feeling. Start out with, like, I feel this way because A, B, C, and D. I need this from you. Um, Maybe you're not getting enough attention from your spouse. Maybe you need more attention. And you can let them know that by saying, I don't feel like you're very attentive to me, to my needs, to my feelings, to my wants. I need you to be more attentive. Listen, let's face it, and no judgment here, guys, but guys are absolutely naive when it comes to knowing what a woman wants. We have to tell them what we want. Let's just be honest. Half the time, guys don't know what you're thinking or what you want. You have to let them know. And it's not their fault. Guys are just wired that way. You expect them to know absolutely what you want and what you're needing. And sometimes they just don't know. They're just going about their daily life. And sometimes they don't know that they even did anything wrong. Thank you so much, Taos Games, for sharing us out. Thank you. So when you say to your partner, I'm feeling left out. I feel like maybe you play video games too many hours a day. Maybe you're working too much, whatever it is. And you guys say, okay, well, let's fix this. Let's set one night a week aside where we do nothing but spend time together. Maybe you're going to go to the movies. Maybe you're going to go have dinner. Maybe you're going to get a little romantic. Whatever it is that you want to set that one day a week for each other to have a date night. Especially if you have kids. If you have kids, it's hard to have alone time. Let's face it. Your kids are always around. And unless you have a babysitter on hand, which we don't, we never have. Unless you have a babysitter on hand, you never get that alone one-on-one time with your partner. So my thing is, if you don't have that, this is what you can do, because this is what works for me. This is just my opinion. Like I said, I'm no expert. But when I am feeling like I want alone time with my husband and the kids are here, And maybe I just want to de-stress and maybe just cuddle or just watch a movie, just me and him. This is what we do. Early to bed for the kids, or maybe it's, daytime. Well, for the most part, in the daytime, the kids are at school. But if the kids are home and you want alone time, this is what I say. Little boo, go to your room and play. She's got a room full of toys. Go to your room and play. G-Force Journey, Gabriella, go to your room, listen to your radio, read a book, whatever you do. She'll be, upstairs, if it's on her phone, if it's on her computer, whatever she's doing. And we'll just send them to their rooms to hang out for a while. And maybe we'll put in a movie and we'll just sit there and cuddle and we'll just relax and we'll watch a movie and we'll just have 2 hours of alone time. And it works. It's not the ideal getaway. You're still in your house. You're still not going anywhere, but you're still getting that one-on-one time with your spouse that you need. So make time for your spouse, no matter what, no matter if you have kids, no matter if you don't have kids, make that time. Go out if you can. If you don't have kids or you're not tied down to the home front for any reason, go out. Go bowling. Go shoot pool. Go swimming at an indoor YMCA or whatever it is that you can do with your partner. If it's colder out, maybe have a bonfire or, like I said, go out to the movies, or if you roller skate, go out and have a night of roller skating. We're not too old to roller skate, okay? Let me just tell you that. We're not too old. Ultimately, I feel like if you keep the communication open, your marriage will survive. I'm not an expert, but we have been married going on 18 years, May 1st, and we've been together 21 years. So I think I know a little bit about something or nothing. But either way, it works for us and it can work for you too. Most of the time, it's, routine. A lot of people get into the routines of waking up, getting showers, going to work, kids are off to school, you're cleaning the house, you're doing whatever you're doing, or you're going to work, whatever it is that you do. And life becomes a routine. You do the same thing every day, every day. Keep your head down, you make that money, you pay your bills, and you try to just survive. But when is it okay to look up? When okay is it to look up and say, wow, I'm really missing out on a lot? You don't have to always do the same thing every day. Break away from those routines. Take a day off of work and just go spend the day with your partner doing something. It doesn't have to be this big, huge money thing where you have to spend a lot of money to go do something. Maybe just stay home and cook a meal or order in, whatever you do, spend that quality time. And when I say quality time, I mean quality time, not just sitting there both on your phones, because that happens a lot. All of you teenagers and younger folks out there, I see, two people sitting next to each other and they're all on their phones. No. Get off the phones, put the phones away. Don't scroll on Facebook or YouTube. Don't do none of that. Spend time with your significant other. Actually enjoy and take in your partner. Enjoy the fresh air. Go take a walk. Do something that is going to help feed your relationship. And when I say feed, I mean like the plant. When you feed the plant, you're feeding your relationship. So, I don't know what you guys think. Maybe you disagree, but I feel like you should definitely fix something if it's broken. Um, we, like I said, have had arguments, we have had fights, we have, nobody's perfect, but if you can work on them and you can learn how to communicate, you will get past that and you will learn how to keep your marriage going. My thing is, if you can get through the first year of marriage, you can get through anything. The first year is the hardest. So once you get through that first year, you're like, okay, we got this. We got this. Like that first year was, oh my gosh. And you're like, wow, we really been through it. And then you're like, you know what? If we can get through all that, we can get through anything. And then reality sinks in and you're like, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. You can actually start enjoying being married and doing things together as a couple, and the pressure is off and you can start living your life. But, you definitely shouldn't be name calling or putting your hands on anyone or, calling people out their names, saying things that are going to push each other's buttons. Fight fair. If you're going to fight, fight fair. Say things that make sense. You made me angry because A, B, C, and D. I know I shouldn't have got upset, but this is what I need you to do for me. Welcome back, Olivia. Thank you for coming back. But yeah, definitely make sure that you keep the communication open. Maybe your partner has something that they want to tell you. Maybe they're thinking about cheating because, they're not getting what they need from you. So you want that communication to be open because then they can tell you, like, listen, I've really been thinking about stepping out on you, and these are the reasons. I don't want to do this, so I need A, B, C, and D from you. This is what I feel like I'm not getting from you. And to be honest, I've been thinking about, stepping out. And that person can say, hey, I didn't even realize that I wasn't doing A, B, C, and D. But, give me a chance to fix this. And, I promise that, I'll try to do better. And then, that way you guys can work that out before somebody does have an infidelity. So that brings me up to our next topic, which is going to be for this Thursday, cheating. So have those thoughts coming because Thursday we will talk about cheating. Is it okay or is it not okay? Be ready to give your answers on Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time when we have another Coffee Corner with Tea. And we'll have a different mug on our next Coffee Corner. We're going to showcase all of my different mugs in my collection. So, yes, be ready for that. And also, don't forget, we have a Valentine's Day contest coming up February 14th. And be sure to drop those super chats whenever we have a live or premiere because you will get an entry into our Valentine's Day giveaway. Guys, thank you so much for coming this morning and joining us for Coffee Corner with Tea. If you have any comments, go ahead and comment them down below. Let us know what you think about divorce. Um, you know, were you brought up in a home where you fix things in a relationship, or were you brought up to where if something wasn't working, you just get rid of it? Give up is basically the word. Do you just give up and get a divorce, or, do you work it out? Do you work it out and do you fix the problems so that you can have a long, you know, life with your partner? Because ultimately, if you chose to marry this person, you chose to spend the rest of your life with this person. Marriage was not just a thought you had one day and you said, hey, I want to get married. Let's go do it. You thought you wanted to spend the rest of your life with this person. So ultimately, you have to be willing to work on your marriage and fix it if it's able to be fixed. Now, as I said, if you are in an abusive relationship or substance abuse or something like that, verbal abuse, absolutely get out of your relationship, run fast as you can, let somebody know, let somebody help you, because let's face it, there are a lot of people in abusive relationships and they stay. And one of the reasons they stay is they're afraid to get out. They're afraid for their safety. The second reason they stay is because of children. Maybe they have children together. The third reason maybe they stay is financially. They feel like they can't get out because they don't maybe work or they don't have money. So they depend on this other person to carry them and basically help them live. Another reason could be retaliation. They're afraid that there might be some retaliation to either them or their loved ones, or, things like that. There's lots of different reasons why people might stay in an abusive relationship. But sometimes others who are outside of the relationship think that they know why somebody's staying in a relationship, and maybe that's not it. Maybe if somebody has a toxic relationship and they argue or they fight, maybe there was a certain reason for those arguments or fighting. But maybe once that couple got rid of that problem or that reason why they were fighting so much, maybe now they get along perfectly. Maybe now they don't argue and fight. Maybe now things are totally on the up and up. And that could possibly happen. I can tell you this. When my stepdaughter lived with us, me and Chris, Big Belly Boo Boo, argued a lot. A lot. Most of the reason was because our daughter had a lot of problems when she had lived with her mother. And a lot of those issues came over with us when she moved in with us. So like, that has a lot to do with a lot of marriages. When you take in a stepchild, you want to treat them like they're your own, and you do everything for them and you love them like they're your own. But sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes they, are trying to play one against the other. That happened a lot with us. My stepdaughter was trying to play her mother against her father. Um, a lot of it was, I want to come and live with you because mom's being abusive and da 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 da. And then you come and live with your dad, and then you don't like dad's rules and stepmom's rules. So then you say, oh, I don't want to live here. So then you say, I'm being abused over here because I want to go back with mom now because, hey, I thought mom was bad, but this is really bad. So let me go back here where I can still do whatever I want. So it's all about playing one parent against the other. And ultimately, when you're doing everything you can for this child and the child is just not appreciating it and acting out and doing all of these things, it makes it very hard for you to love them, and it makes it very hard for you to feel a certain way about them, because you do all of these things for them, and then in the end it's like a slap in the face, because then they want to go back home with mom, who wasn't there for like the entire time you raised this child. And it's a lot, but in the end everybody has to take responsibility for their part in what happens. So in the end, when she no longer was living with us, me and Chris, we totally started, it was like a new relationship all over again. It was like we totally started getting along all over again, because we didn't have the strain of this child that was putting all this pressure on our relationship. It was, all of the lies and all of the fighting and all of the arguments. And it was just like a brand new relationship all over again. Now, don't get me wrong, there were little arguments about different stupid things that always happen in a relationship. But it was like a weight was lifted off of our shoulders, because we didn't have to deal with all of the negativity and all of the, exes issues and all of the, you know, stepchild's, lies and all of the trouble and all of the, it was just like, you know what? We love her, but it was just a lot on us. It was a lot for us to handle, because she was just out of control, sneaking out. I remember one time we left her with Gabriella. Gabriella was little at the time. She was like maybe 2 years old. And we went and had a night at bingo. She was old enough to babysit. And we came home and we never even knew. But later on, like years later, we found out she left her sister home alone and snuck out to go meet a boy. Like these were just the issues that we were having with her. And it was just crazy. But yeah, when you have stepkids, that can have a lot of strain on your marriage as well. So you have to put things in perspective. And in the end, we decided it was best, after a long court battle, to just let her go back, live with her mother, and whatever happened, happened. We loved her, we missed her, but in the end, we were just like, maybe it's best, because we don't want to keep on fighting, and we don't want all of this, strain on our marriage. And in the end, it worked out. She went back with mom, and the only sad part about it is that we don't have anything to do with her, and we haven't spoken to her since she was 16. She's now 26. So it's been 10 years and we haven't seen her or spoken to her. Um, Really, the bad thing about that is she doesn't see her siblings. Um, but, that's a whole nother topic. So, yeah, let us know in the comment section as well what you guys think about marriage, and what are your thoughts on it, if you should fix it or not. Um, and we will see you on Thursday on our next Coffee Corner with Tea. Cheers, guys. Bye.